Hello, hello, hello.
How we doing?
Good, good, good. Loving your professional setup there. I'm gonna have to.
Not professional. This is a simple mic, and I just plug it in, so it sounds a little bit better.
I'm gonna have to make that one of my go-to goals. So, Coda, right? For those
That's
of you
right.
who
I'm
don't
a
know, this
coda.
is
You're a
Chris Roop.
coda.
Yep, this is
Yes,
Chris Roop, the Coda comedian, the pastor, the jack of all trades. I'm guessing.
that's a pretty good way to describe me. I have my hands in too many things, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah. I like always doing research about those that I interview, and
Well, I'm scared. I'm scared about that. What you're going to find out? How deep did you go? Is the question.
I did actually, there was not much to find out, I mean, but how did you make the jump from, so you started a pastor, right?
Correct. Yes.
And ended up a comedian?
Yeah, it's a weird jump, and a lot of people have asked that same question. So the
I hate to ask repeat questions, but
No, no, it's a common, I mean, it's a common curiosity. And so I would say it this way. I have always been fascinated by comedy and liked it. I was the class clown in school.
yeah,
All
yeah.
my friends, when they got married, I roasted them. And so it's just kind of been a part of me. But, and I always thought, man, it would be cool. But I mean, it's one of those things, how do you even become a comedian? What is that? I didn't know anything like that. For me, the transition happened. Me and my wife are also adoptive parents, and we're real active in the adoption community.
Nice. I did read
And
that.
so we do this annual fundraiser called Cracking Up for Adoption. But back then, that's how it all got started. My brain was trying to figure out how can I raise funds in a creative way to help out local families who are trying to adopt. And I came up with this idea that I've always wanted to do it. It's kind of been a bucket list thing. I would do a comedy show to raise funds for it
Yeah,
and bring in a real comedian. And then, so they're still going to get a real comedian,
yeah,
but I would do a little bit of time. And it doesn't matter if I'm funny or not funny. Either I'm going to bomb and they're going to laugh,
right,
or it's going to be funny and they're going to laugh,
right.
and it was a combination of the two. And so I did it, and the guy that I asked to come said, all you pastors are the same. You think you can just because you can say something funny on Sunday morning and people laugh, that you can somehow go out and people are going to laugh at you. And so he said, if I was you, I wouldn't just get up there for the first time. So he took me to an open mic. And open mics in the comedy world is kind of how you get your start. Anybody can get up,
I've heard
and
a few of those. My husband's trying to break into the comedy world, so
oh, well, then he
I've
knows. Is
heard
he
you.
is he starting late in life too?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well,
So,
he had a start when he was younger, and then stopped to raise his kids and all that other stuff, and then life got in the way, and well, you know how it goes. And then now,
yeah.
we got married, and he's helped me accomplish a lot of my dreams, and so I was like, okay, some of your dreams are. And comedy was one of them. And I said, all right, well, let's do it. Like, what does it look like? What do we need to do? And it's been an adventure, let me tell you.
Is he
I
doing the open mics?
He is doing the open mics.
What city are y'all in?
We are in Florence, Alabama. So we're going to Huntsville
Oh,
to do the open mic
yeah.
in Huntsville. He's
Yeah, yeah,
done
yeah. There's a
several
comedy club there. What's the name
Levity
of it?
Live.
What is it?
Levity Live.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard of it. I mean, I've never been.
Yeah, he's done several little bits down there, and does pretty well actually. And according to him, some of the open mics, it's harder to do with a smaller crowd, in his opinion.
100%.
So okay, so let me ask, what advice would you give him? Like standing in front of three people, all of three people, how are you gonna not get in your head and try to make them laugh?
I mean, and that's happened to me many times.
Yeah.
I used to do this run with a guy where we would go to a bunch of breweries, and it was you never knew what you were going to get. It could be five people, or it could be 30 or 40.
Yeah.
But what I did, my philosophy always was, I don't care how many people in the room. I adjust maybe my style a little bit in the sense of it's more conversational if it's that few of people, because it has to be.
Yeah.
But what I would do is try to redirect. So when I got to my bit, do my bit. And then I'm just looking to see if they're going to laugh. Did what parts of that bit got the laugh? So for me, it's work. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, this isn't,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
especially a lot of this stuff, you're not making any money anyway. So treat it as a job. And it's like, okay, if he should be recording every time he goes,
yeah.
he should be listening for where the laugh was, where the laugh wasn't. You don't necessarily give up on a part of a bit if you don't get it in one or two places, because three people, when you have a big crowd, a bunch of people may like one part of a bit, some another, but you evaluate it over time and go, that part of the bit's just not working. I'm going to bail on it. And then you
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
get rid of it. You just
I have,
evaluate it really hard. And the biggest thing for him, and I don't know if Huntsville's the place that has it, but it's, you got to be on the mic 3, 4 times a week or sometimes
yeah.
more. Some of these guys here locally are doing 10, 15 times because you're only getting 5, 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and that's hard to
Yeah.
do
It's
it.
hard to judge him.
Build up your 5 minute, then build up to 10 minutes,
Yeah.
build up to 15, and now you can potentially open and feature for people if you can get to 15 or 20.
It sounds like that he's on the right track then, at least. I had no idea that comedy was such it's an art, and it definitely is like people that get up there and do it well make it seem like it's effortless. Like they just jump up there and they just, but I am learning.
No, it is a lot of work to
It
get
is
one
so
joke
much
to
work.
work. Now you
So
get
much.
lucky every once in a while. I mean, there's a couple of bits that hit first time, and it's just the greatest feeling ever. It's like great, and that's one thing I don't have to work on forever. It's
Yeah.
I got one.
So okay, I
But
have a
you
question.
write for probably for 100 jokes you write, you're only going to use 10 or 20, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's the hard part of it.
Yeah,
A
he's
lot of people don't realize it. It's not like you just get up and you're funny. There has to
right.
be a little bit of that. I mean,
Yeah.
there's different levels of comedians. So I mean, your peak might be certain high. There are some people who will always have a hard time being funny. So
Oh,
there, and then there
I
are
would be
some
one of
people that
those.
are just okay.
Yeah, I would be one
What's
of those
that?
people. I would be one of those people. I'm the queen of awkward, like awkward situations, hands down. If it's
You'll kill it.
awkward, it's going to happen to me. It's going to
Well,
happen.
that would be
It's going
that
to be.
would be your stage personality. You'd be awkward, and then you just try to make awkward funny. That's how you do it.
Well,
For even for you.
I want to ask about the coda bit. So I am also a coda. For those of you that don't know, it's a child of a deaf adult. Um, so what, other than Keith Wan, who is, I think most people know him.
In the
There's
deaf community, correct?
in the
Yes.
deaf community, yes.
Right,
There's not
right.
very many, thank you for clarifying. There's not very many individuals that use that bit. So was that something that you were like, oh, I'm automatically going to use? Like, do you find that that goes over well in
Coda?
yeah, in a varied crowd or,
Well, it's on my comedy special, so I put it out there. To
yeah,
be quite honest with you, I took a chance and rolled the dice on it, and it is weird. I do it I do it a lot of places. It's sort of the thing that got me into it initially, because I would say my initial stuff, my first 15, 20 minutes was probably over half was growing up with deaf parents. I know a lot of I know a lot of codas
yeah,
who are comedians.
really?
Oh yeah, there's three or
Okay,
four out there that are
okay.
pretty well known. The
Well,
issue is for me
yeah,
is I had to make that decision, and I'm sure a lot of them have bailed on it a little bit because of the fear that people get offended. So we're in such an offensive
um,
culture. Whereas my approach is, I've said this over and over again, when I talk about my jokes, some of them do kind of feel a little awkward, and
yeah,
it's like, ah, man, can you say that? What I'm trying to do is shed light
hmm,
on an experience that me and you, if we were to have this conversation, 95% of what we would talk about, you would, even though it felt awkward, you would say yes. And that's
yes, oh,
true. And that's
absolutely,
funny.
yeah, yeah,
And I had that same experience. Whereas, and so I do get some people, people who want to be offended for other people. I've never met a coda who's been offended.
oh, yeah,
I have met some deaf people who don't understand the nuance,
yeah.
because deaf, it's just like if people were to watch a deaf comedian, the way they tell their
It
jokes
doesn't
and their setups
translate.
and their punches are
Yeah,
different towards a deaf community, and it would make no sense to a hearing person.
it doesn't translate. It doesn't translate.
Correct. And so I do have a few that get offended, and I try to explain to it. I've explained it to my mother and made sure she was on board
Yeah,
with a lot of what I was talking about, since she was the brunt of
primary.
that
Yeah,
conversation. Um, but that most people are like, hey, you're shedding light on something that we couldn't possibly comprehend
yeah.
in a funny way.
Well, and here's the thing. I will have to tell you, my experience has been slightly different than yours. You talk about deaf people being quiet. What family were you
No,
in?
no, that's a joke. And it's funny. I screwed up. I should have explained it. But the thing is, I love that punchline so much. And the joke you're talking
Yeah,
about is when
the
I
joke is
say,
funny. Yeah, the joke is funny. But my husband and I have had this argument because he has always said, "Oh, deaf people don't talk; they're quiet." And I'm like, "Honey,
no,
no.
no,
My house was so
totally
loud growing
opposite.
up." And then you said that joke, and he was like, "See," and I was like, "No, he's lying. He's lying."
That's 100% lying. 100%. And
Okay,
I got
so
roasted in the
just to
comments.
clarify, husband, you're not,
100%.
that's a lie.
And the joke for people who are curious, basically, deaf people will get together and they have parties. Now, the funny thing is, you'll understand this. It's not called parties; they call them clubs.
Yes, they
They
call.
have deaf clubs, at least in our community in
Yes.
this area.
Mhm.
And so you would go to different clubs. I
Yes.
used to talk about it that way, but trying to educate people
They don't
there's
get
no
it.
funny way to say that. So I just skipped it. Deaf people get together in a room. And then I really wanted to do this in bit. So the only way to do it is I had to lie, which is say, if you get a bunch of deaf people in a room,
Yeah.
it is quiet. However, I mean, and you could hear a pin drop. I mean, well, if you weren't deaf, I
That is
wanted to do that joke. That's
yes.
it.
Yes. That is the furthest thing from the truth. It is
100%. There's, well,
loudest.
first of all, there's physical noise like the
Yes.
slapping.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
A lot of noises. My mama is a loud person. So, and she is not like, she's not ashamed or afraid of being
yeah.
deaf, or
Yeah.
she owns it wherever
Yeah.
she is. So when my friends would come over, whatever,
Yeah.
she's always loud and it sounds like she's yelling and angry, even when she's not. But then
Well,
when she is, whoo, it's a whole nother level.
I think what tripped my husband up. Okay, the first time we had a group of deaf people at our house, he had met my dad for the first time. We'd been married a year. My dad had brought his fiance. My mom was there, which you'll understand this is normal in deaf world, and we had a close friend. So the awkwardness of that situation, and then my dad took off with my sister and left his fiance and my mom and our friend to talk.
That is awkward.
Yeah, in most hearing circles, that would never happen. But, in the deaf world, it's kind of like, oh, yeah, another deaf person. We'll just leave her here and she'll just talk with them and blah, blah, blah. And
Right.
it really was the most awkward, quiet. That's probably the quietest I've ever heard a group of deaf people in a room. But it wasn't because they were deaf. It was because of the awkwardness of the situation.
Right. Now that's funny.
Right. But I couldn't get him to understand that because he's just going, no, they were over here. They were quiet. And I'm like, no,
Mm-mm.
honey. Like, no.
Unique situation.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right, right.
No, especially at these clubs, it's even worse. When you get a
Oh,
bunch of deaf people together and having fun,
oh my
it's a
gosh.
lot. I
It's
mean, they're crazy.
it's table
In a good way.
beating.
I mean,
Yeah.
I like going,
Oh, it's
and
so much
it was
fun.
fun as a kid,
It's
and
so
you get
much
to be
fun.
around other kids.
Hmm.
So it was always cool.
Well, and I think that's the reason why my volume, I have one volume setting and it's loud. And
100%.
it doesn't matter where I go, the volume is loud. And my husband is like, honey, shh. Like, why are you so loud? And I'm like, deaf people raised me.
Yeah. Yeah. I was loud my entire life and they didn't care. My parents never said, shut up, quit being so loud in there,
Never.
turn down the
Now,
volume.
okay, so did you get the don't stomp?
Now, that was the funny thing. If we were fine in our room doing whatever we wanted until we started jumping around or hitting the floor and the house shook.
Yes.
As soon as
Dad
the
would
house started
say,
moving,
Dad would say,
they would go
running, stop,
bananas.
finish, noise, stop, running, stop.
Yep.
You're too loud. You're too loud. And it
Yeah,
was,
your parents were nice. Mine
yeah,
would come in with shoes, start throwing things. It'd be like, "What are you doing in here? You think y'all are fighting? You just wait.
yeah.
I'm going to show you what fighting is."
So I could tiptoe through the house yelling and was fine.
Right.
Absolutely fine. But you had to tiptoe
Yep.
through the house. You couldn't stomp. You couldn't walk
Yes.
heavy.
And because they'd say, "Why are you walking so hard?" Or
Right, right. Why you
and they knew as
yeah.
soon as you dropped something or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I have to tell
Yeah,
you,
it's a unique experience. People
yes,
don't get there's benefits.
yes,
I was never told to turn the music down. So, I mean, we cranked it back in those days. It was heavy metal. So, I mean, I
yes.
could blare heavy metal all day long.
We never even had music. Like mom didn't have any concept of, oh, the my kid, like we had the music on the in the car radio, which was
Right,
static
right.
half the time because it's the 80s and 70s, 80s, whatever. And a neighbor actually gave me my first radio for my birthday because she was like, you don't have a radio? And I was like, no, I was 10 years old before I got my first radio.
Yeah,
My
same here.
golly, we took it downstairs and we played Michael Jackson Thriller and we copied every move. It was so fun. So I mean, it
Your
just
life was revolutionized.
hey, absolutely. But I didn't even realize I was a coda until I was in my 20s, 30s. Like I didn't know
The term, you mean?
the term. I didn't understand that there was like these huge groups of people that were getting together that were all identifying as codas. And I was like, I mean, I knew I was a coda in the sense that I'm a child of a deaf adult. Like I knew that term,
Right.
but I had no idea that people were getting together and sharing these experiences. And like there's conferences and there's
No,
all
I've
kinds
never
of,
been a part of that.
I
Now
haven't either.
I grew up in the backwoods of North Carolina.
Yeah.
So there were no, I mean, I didn't even meet a ton of kids unless I went to some of these deaf parties.
Right,
Then
right,
you'd
right.
meet some of the kids that were like you, but man, it was rare. And
Yeah.
I knew only reason I found out a lot about Coda and really deaf culture as a whole. When I went to college, I became a interpreter
Yes.
at Gardner Webb University.
I was going to ask if you'd ever dabbled in interpreting because that
Yeah,
seems to be the
so
truth.
it was weird because back then they would pay if you're an interpreter, it's a skilled position. So as
Mhm.
a student, and this is going to sound so funny today, but back in '88, um, you got paid $10 an hour,
Oh,
and
hey, that's
probably equivalent to 25 today, I would say, maybe 30. So
yes.
it was a lot of money to be making at that time as a student, and
Yeah.
you had to pass a test to do it, and then so I'm interpreting for classes, which so it was pretty cool because some of the classes that I had to take or was going to take, I'm interpreting for, so I'm hearing it twice and
Right.
getting to learn from it. I interpreted one time for a DC Talk concert.
Oh my gosh, that's
That
hilarious.
was the weirdest thing I've ever done. It was impossible, first of all.
Yeah, yeah,
But I got to meet them and they gave me one of the sleeves because they weren't popular at that time. They were
yeah.
opening for somebody else. So they gave me their sleeve. I'd know, maybe heard one of their songs. And so I had to look at this paper. And I don't know if DC Talk is
It's
the
big on
early
this
days
little
of
sleeve.
rap slash singing.
Yeah,
It was impossible.
yeah.
It was an
It's written
impossible
like
task.
little ant. It's written ant size on those sleeves. Yeah.
Yeah. It was not good. It
Yeah,
was
and
bad.
there's
And
no
they
internet
understood
to
it.
look up lyrics. You had to listen to the song and write the lyrics out and all that.
I
Yeah.
just told them to read their lips. I just said, look right up there. Look up there. You can feel that bass. I mean, there's a lot of bass.
Boom,
Feel
boom,
it?
boom, boom. That's music.
Boom, boom. It'll
That's what
shake.
it
You'll be good. You'll be good. And I got paid still, so it was
is.
fun.
That's awesome. I've done a few country, the Oak Ridge Boys and stuff like that. So,
Well, I got one for you. I got a question for you. Have you
all right.
ever been? This was so I know the deaf community and people have been in it, and maybe some of the people, if they hear me say this, and I do have a joke about this, but have you ever done the interpretive music group thing? So, in other words, just sort of, where you signed to music with a group. So Gardner Webb had a group
Yes,
called
we
Joyful
did that all
Noise.
through like in church. Our youth group every year would take that to the youth competition.
Yes,
They would do a song in sign language and it would be
yes.
interpreted and I would have to I sat on the board where we or sat on the panel where we had to judge those different groups coming through and yeah. Oh yeah. I know
I
exactly.
find that amusing. That was, in hindsight, as I look back, it feels funny now because you're doing songs to sign language that deaf people can't hear. And
And
in
they
the
probably
culture,
will never listen to.
no, yeah. I mean, I think it's more for the hearing people just to amuse them.
It's not visually appealing even.
No,
Like
there's a lot of better ways to do it. And not that I'm a fan of interpretive dance, but that seems more applicable. But I thought that was an interesting time in my life. It was called Joyful Hands. I said Joyful Noise. It's Joyful Hands.
what
It
was that?
reminds me of that Napoleon Dynamite where the girls, they had that, I don't know if you ever watched that movie, but
Yes.
where they did the signing thing.
Yes.
That's what it
No, I
reminds me
will
of.
say the most I will say the probably as far as interpreting music goes, the one time I feel like I really truly nailed it, unfortunately, was at a funeral. They were playing a song, and I had practiced and practiced and practiced, and I was, and the song itself was very very touching. And I'm up there on stage, and I'm signing this song, and I have to close my eyes when I sign music. I have to because I don't want to
Right.
see. I don't want them to look at me, and I don't want to see this and then it throw me. So I'm like, I can't do that. So I have to close my eyes, and I'm closing my eyes, and I'm signing away, and a tear just rolls because I couldn't stop it because the song was just
Oh,
so.
yeah.
And a tear just rolls down my face, and I thought, Annie, pull it together, Annie, pull it together. Like, and I'm signing away, and then the song is over, and I kind of wipe my face and blow my nose and come back and start interpreting again. At the end, the deaf people came. I mean, they were just like whoosh. They were like,
Oh
that
yeah.
was the most beautiful thing. But that was perfect. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
Like,
No, yeah. Well, there's emotion involved in it. Who's the
yeah.
guy? Have you seen the movie Coda? I'm assuming, right?
Yes, I have.
Which is
Every code
it's
is
a
wrong.
I hope so
Yeah.
because it is a decent reflection. I mean, it's very cultural to the Pacific Northwest, but
Yeah.
so there's some unique nuances there that might
Yeah.
be different, obviously, than our experiences. But
Yeah.
it is a good movie if you want to get a good feel for it. But
Yeah.
that the guy actor, which I hate that I forgot his name, I'm embarrassed.
He's in a new series of Black Rabbit.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it yet. I did see that. I saw
I
that.
haven't seen the series yet either, but I know that he's acting in that series. So,
I'm actually looking this up. I'm not.
okay.
What was his name? It was at the Super Bowl.
Oh
He
yeah,
did the.
he
Did
did
you
the
see
national anthem,
Tony? Oh, it's
or the
Troy
Star Spangled Banner.
Kotzer.
I mean, Star Spangled Banner.
Troy Kotzer,
Yes.
Star Spangled Banner, Super Bowl. If you haven't seen it, look it up. That to
Oh,
me was one of the most powerful. That
to
there
me,
are times when you sign a song that I think nails it,
yes.
and he
That to me,
crushes it.
I agree. That was 100% like if a deaf person could sing, that was
Yes,
it.
that was
That
it.
was it. Like that
He's
was it.
he's incredibly talented.
Yeah. I'm so
And
excited to
Coda.
see I'm so excited to see him moving into, more roles that are not
Yeah,
just
Marley Matlin said on that movie, they were going to cast that to somebody else, and the kid too that was not deaf, and she made a hard like. There's no way you're casting a hearing person in these particular roles.
no.
It's just not going to happen. This is you're doing a movie Coda to show the experiences of a child of a
That
deaf
would have
adult. You probably want some deaf adults in there.
that would have
So,
destroyed it. That would have destroyed it. If they'd have done it any
yes,
differently, that would have destroyed it.
yeah,
That would have been egg on their face completely.
yes,
Well, I knew that this was going to happen. I knew that this was going to end up being. I forget all the questions, and we're just.
it's fine.
It
I got
is.
questions. I it
Okay.
has so another weird thing about deaf culture. Um, and I bring this up a lot, and people I think I'm exaggerating, but I do know some people have had this experience. I actually went through a period of time in my childhood. I don't remember exactly when it was. Somewhere when I was young, so young and stupid, didn't understand things. So it's probably somewhere between 5 and 8. I didn't even realize deafness until I was in kindergarten because all I knew was that's the way my life was.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
go to school and everybody's like, your parents are deaf and they want
Yeah.
me to do sign language. I was like,
Right.
oh, so that's not normal.
Yeah.
And so somewhere between there and maybe like 8 years old, I went through a phase where I started wondering if my parents were faking it.
No. Yes, I did as a teenager. There was one time I was yelling at my mom. We had gotten into this big,
All
and
right.
I'm walking away, and I am just, oh, I'm giving it to her. I'm just like, stupid mom, I can't believe you just minute. And she said, like, she's behind me, and she said, Annie, you be quiet. And I went,
So your brain said, oh, she can
yeah.
hear.
I'm like,
I
she's
am.
been faking
Then
it
you
my
start thinking about
whole
everything you've
life.
ever said in your entire life.
Yes, I thought right there, and then of course I was being ugly, and I think she said, "Annie, shut up," is really what she said. But I'm trying to be
Right.
polite, because
Like, how did she know? How did she know?
right. And I'm like, she has been
Yes.
faking it my entire life. She knows she can hear. Like, you literally in an instant, your brain goes zoop, zoop, zoop.
100%. I would watch them and I literally, and it's a part of a joke that I do, but I exaggerated in my joke. But bottom line is I would start doing things just to see if they could hear.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
yeah.
making
Yeah.
weird noises, come up behind them,
I would not move my
slap my
mouth.
hands.
I wouldn't move my mouth. I would still try to make noise so that they could, I'd be like,
Just to see if they know.
just
Yeah.
to see if they would say,
Get
oh,
right up in their face. You look like an idiot.
yeah.
You're the meanest parents of all time. I become a ventriloquist is basically what happened.
Well, years later, I figured out when I had a teenage daughter and she was walking away from me with a great deal of attitude, mouthing, her little head was just bop, bop, bop,
Yes.
bop, bop,
It
bop.
was yeah,
I went,
100%.
oh, that's how she knew.
Yeah.
Get
They're
it?
not stupid. And plus, you didn't even have to do that. They're like, I know what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah, right. I mean,
That's hilarious.
so
That's that Seinfeld bit where he's dating a deaf girl, and it was Marley Matlin, and they're covering their mouth at the table,
Yes.
talking to each other about how they're going to use her to help solve some issue they had. And then, so the whole time they're covering their mouth, and then she says, "Yeah, I'll do it." So it's like she could hear them the whole time. That's a pretty funny bit if you've never seen that
Yeah.
on
Well,
Seinfeld.
and it's accurate because there, I think that happens to every coda at some point in their life. At some point in their life, there is an event where they're outed without their parents hearing them or seeing them, I guess I should say,
Right.
and they instantly have that thought of, you know, that's funny.
Now, are you able to read lips a little bit?
Oh my gosh, I had no idea I read lips until
Oh,
COVID. When COVID
oh,
hit and people started wearing masks, I felt like I was in a foreign land. I was like,
yeah.
why do I not? Why can't I understand people anymore? And then it dawned on me because I'm reading their lips more than
Right. You always have since you were a child.
right. I had no clue. I had no clue
Yep.
until COVID. And I was like, okay. So now I
I
said,
didn't realize until I was older. I don't remember how I figured it out, but I didn't realize that everybody didn't look at other people's mouths. Like people actually look in each other's eyes and stuff like that. I look at their mouths because I had to with my parents. I'm trying to figure out what they were saying or
hey,
whatever. And so
right.
you had to kind of do the combination of hands and whatever. And so I've
Yeah.
always grown up with looking at mouths, which is kind of weird now because people are like, you've been looking at my mouth the whole time. I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to. That's just
Well,
kind of what I do.
I went the first time I started working as a professional interpreter for a school district. They sent all of us to like a conference, which I'd never experienced before. This is all brand new to me. I'm like, just kind of thrown into the lion's den because I can sign, basically. And we're sitting down at this conference, and one of the videos that they decided to play, they blurred out the face of the person, but you could see the signs. I am telling you, I had no clue what they were saying. I could see the signs perfectly clearly. And for those of you that don't understand, the signs themselves are the actual words that the people are saying,
Right.
if they were to talk. Um, and blurring out the face, technically, you would think it wouldn't make a difference, but it's such a huge part of the
Oh,
communication
yeah.
that when they blurred out that face, I was lost as a bunny rabbit. I was like,
Especially, ASL, it is
yeah.
not the language involves gestures, bodies, facial expressions,
Oh,
mouth movements, the whole
did
bit.
you know what this was? Did you know what this was? I was 35 before I figured out what this was, before I learned. It's a classifier. A classifier. These little, those are called classifiers.
No, I have no,
Like, I had no idea. I had no idea. I've been using them my whole life. And I was at this meeting, and they're going, okay, so I want you guys to come up with a story using at least 5 classifiers, basically. And I was like, what's a classifier? What? I have no clue.
did
And
everybody else around you know?
a couple of them, well, let me see. My aunt was with me. My aunt did the best story, and she's hard of hearing. So,
Mhm.
she jumped up there and she was just, I mean, she was balls to the wall doing
Oh,
and
yeah.
she used this and it was a oh, we're running out of time, oh, I'm so sad. But yeah, so anyway, all of that aside, we're gonna have to do this again for sure.
Yeah.
Before we end, we've got about 10 minutes left. So anyway, all of these things that were a natural part of our language, they actually have technical names and grammatical structures and all of that. And that was something that I don't know if you were aware of it, but I was absolutely unaware of it for a long time.
No, after I got my master's, I interpreted through college and then a little bit while I was getting my master's. And then I pretty much got out of it. And, I can certainly still interpret enough to get by or say things, but I
Yeah.
don't sign enough anymore to obviously wouldn't be qualified. I'd have to go all the way back down the rabbit hole. And the older you get, the longer it goes. I can communicate just fine and I
Yeah.
understand everything just fine, but I can't interpret anymore, which
Yeah.
is a whole nother level.
Oh, it definitely
So
does.
no, it would a lot of those things I never learned because I think I got out too soon.
Yeah. Well, that's been the surprising thing in my journey. But okay, so I have two more. I did write down 2 questions.
Right?
Advice for any up and coming I know we didn't talk much about your comedy because we got on the Coda Rabbit Trail, but advice for any up and coming comics or comedians, which you kind
Yeah, I
of
mean, I
gave
think
earlier.
the big thing is you're trying to find what makes you unique. If you're going to get on stage, I've been doing this for 10 years, and I would say, or 9 years, but I would say I still haven't fully found my voice, and that is who
I've
you
heard that.
are and how
I've
you
heard
deliver
comedians
things.
use that a lot. What would you
Yes.
define as? Because the last comedian I interviewed had a thing, a panel where she talked about finding your voice. What would
Right.
you define? How would you define a voice? Is that your specific style? Is that your like?
Yes. It's how you deliver things,
Okay,
like your rhythm, your cadence.
okay,
And if you think about like the great ones, like Nate Bargatze is really big right now.
yeah,
He has a very unique, sarcastic, self-deprecating, like he's a dummy. He plays this
yeah,
like, I don't even know what,
yeah,
it's that's his voice. And for some people, it's a character that
yeah,
works for them to deliver stuff. And like, and I'm getting closer. I think mine is I ratchet up my I'm beginning to. It probably doesn't show as much on my special and some other stuff, but I'm working more on still trying to find it
yeah,
clearly. So yes, like how you deliver things. Mine's more trying to be more Southern since that's a unique aspect, and I am
yeah,
Southern. I dial it up a little bit
yeah.
and try to be more self-deprecating, especially as a Southerner, just playing the dumb
That seems
card.
to really hit home with a lot of people. So the self-deprecating aspect.
Self-deprecating on a stage, unless your character is one who's arrogant and whatever. If you're too if you're too hard on people and not hard on yourself, you can lose a crowd quick. And I've seen it happen several times. Self-deprecating makes the crowd find you more endearing.
And
So the
relatable,
earlier you do
probably.
it, the better.
Yeah.
Kind of get help them to buy in.
That's smart.
Yes.
Okay, so before we end, I always like to ask, because at Ann's Arbor, this initially started as a way to give back to the community and as a way to give back to those that are less fortunate. I did see that you have the
Yep.
Metrolina Adoption Fund.
Metrolina. Yep.
Metrolina, thank you, Metrolina Adoption Fund. Is that your passion project where you would want us to go? Like, if you could say, "Hey guys, come support this," would that be it?
For sure. Again, me and my wife are have been very active in the adoption community for a long time. One of the things you find out is adoptions are very expensive
They are. They
and they
are. I
cost
have
a lot
several
of
friends
money.
adopted.
So middle income people have a hard time adopting, and they would be fantastic parents, super
Yeah,
qualified, and they can financially afford it, but they can't afford the adoption because adoptions are
process.
anywhere from $20,000 to $40,000.
Yeah, yeah, it's
So
insane.
the Metro Adoption Fund does raise funds for that purpose. But I would, whether it's the Metroline Adoption Fund or finding a similar fund, there's one called Life Song for Orphans
Okay.
that is more national.
Yeah,
I would say one of those is a worthy cause, or if you just know somebody, there will be times people will post things on their Facebook saying, "Hey, we're trying to adopt."
yeah,
Maybe if you have a little bit of awareness of why they're doing that, and they're trying to raise funds for it. It's unbelievably expensive, and I just have this conviction that rich people shouldn't be the only people who are adopting kids.
yeah. No, I agree.
We need to get every child deserves a
Mhm.
forever home,
Yeah,
and that just seems logical to
yeah,
me. So
yeah.
yes, that's what I would push people to.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. Like I said, I've known several individuals who've adopted, and we've helped. We've bought T-shirts. We've bought
Yes,
whatever they're selling, we're getting, and we're giving money to it because I firmly believe that every child should be loved. You know,
right, right,
period.
and that's how this whole thing started. We did that comedy show. I did a comedy show, did the fundraiser, and it really went over well. And we've
It's
been
funny
doing it
that
every year.
comedy is the fundraising thing because that's how we started with Ann's Arbor. We did a comedy show,
Ah,
and that's
ah,
we met Rick Roberts and a few others.
Rick's my friend,
Yeah,
good
really.
friend of mine.
Moody
Yeah,
Malavi was our second one. Moody Malavi's hilarious.
Moody's a
I
friend of mine. He's out of Nashville.
love Moody. Love Moody.
We've done several shows together. When I first got into comedy, there's a gathering of a bunch of comedians, clean Christian comedians that get together. And I met Moody his first time there, my first time at this thing is where we met, and we've done some shows together.
My gosh, he leaves me in stitches
Yeah,
every
he's funny.
time. Like I'm rolling when he's up there. And
So
then
your husband, if anybody is interested in comedy, Rick Roberts, I'm assuming the podcast is still
he
out there.
actually took the class ages ago,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like
Well,
ages.
there's also a podcast that is great information. I literally, when I first got into it, I just started listening to it. I went backtracked. I went through every podcast. Just anytime I was traveling or doing
Yeah,
anything, I would
yeah.
download things. There's so much wisdom in a lot of it. He brings guys in, and it's called, I can't remember the name of the podcast. It's Rick Roberts. It's a School of Funny, or how to,
Yeah.
it's about, but it's all
Full of
about how
laughs
to
or
be funny and how
something.
to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he's been listening to some of that. So I'll have to just encourage him to really download it.
100%. Be a
Dive.
learner. Yeah.
Oh, and he is a lifelong student, so I don't think there's a problem there. Well, definitely going to have another conversation at some point down the road when you're not so busy, and just catch up, whether it be on Coda things or comedy things, or so. Are you still a pastor? Let me ask that real quick.
I'm still very connected. I'm also a part of, and really in this process, I'm a part of a 501c3 uh, organization in Charlotte where we're very intentional about helping start churches. And
Wonderful.
so that's where most of my energy
Uh,
goes during the week. I have flexibility in my travel and stuff. And a lot of the stuff that I do is more corporate events.
yeah,
And I don't typically post a lot about those. It just
yeah,
sometimes seems weird, although I'm thinking about doing it more because it sometimes looks like I'm not doing anything. But I
yeah,
do a lot of corporate stuff, a lot of private events.
yeah,
And then I've been trying lately to get more into clubs. It's just, it doesn't pay as well.
yeah.
But I need the experience and
So how do
exposure.
you get on
So
the corporate track?
well, you got to get good, and then you put yourself out. There's several different groups that will book you. So I get booked through different
Okay,
bookers, and so they
okay,
find you, and then they add you to their lineup, and then you
okay.
can do like once you kind of get out there, have a website. Now that I've done a bunch
Yeah,
of corporate events, I'm promoting those corporate
yeah,
events, and
yeah.
so people looking for comedians can find you. And there's a couple of resources or online stuff that you could put yourself on that people look to find
Okay,
comedians.
perfect.
So get yourself
Well,
out there.
before we end, thank you so much for this conversation. I've enjoyed it thoroughly. Adoption. If you guys could,
Yes.
if you guys could send your money anywhere, send it towards adoption, because that's everybody needs to be
Yes.
loved. Every child needs to be loved. So, thank you
100%.
so much, Chris. I appreciate it.
Hey, enjoy it. Thank you.
All right, bye bye.
Bye.